All right, class, we're back. And in this video, we are going to be adding our lion at the beginning. We're going to be adding the text introducing lion's mascot, and we're going to be doing some keyframing on scale, opacity, and position. Let's get started. So back in After Effects, we have our composition and we are working in our main comp. So now that we're done with these other comps, we can actually close them so we don't get confused, and let's work in our main comp. So the first thing I'm going to add is our introducing text. So let's grab our text tool and click and type introducing in all caps. And then ... Now for this one, we want our fill to be active and we don't need a stroke. I would also like to use the Prohibition, which is kind of a college sports looking Adobe font. So let's go to our font choices and go to add Adobe fonts. So if you click on this little icon, it will open the Adobe Type Kit. And this is a repository that's available to you with your student Adobe licenses. And it has all the fonts in the world. It's pretty, well, not all of them, but it's pretty incredible selection. The one that we're looking for is called Prohibition. So we're going to click on that. And then to add it to our computer, we just need to add family. And I'm going to save it to my favorites. You may have to sign in with your Adobe account. Now, one thing about After Effects that I've found on the Mac is that the fonts don't really show up right away. So you may actually have to restart the entire computer in order to get it to show. I have restarted and mine is showing. So I'm going to do Prohibition regular and size it up. Now, if you are having a terrible time with this font or your account's not working, what have you, it is okay to use Arial Black. I will not hold it against you. But just in case you want to learn how to use these Adobe fonts, that's how to do it. Okay, so now I've got this Prohibition. I'm going to scale it up to 144. And for the text width, right now it's, it's pretty spaced out. So I'm just going to go maybe to 5 instead. And then finally for my color, I actually want to use some gray this time. So inside of our assets, there is the lion PNG. So we have the lion image on the left here. So let's just click and drag and grab it and drag it into our screen. And now we can grab our introducing fonts, click on the eyedropper and color pick the outside gray line. So it's a little tough to get, but you can get it. And if you want to adjust this gray, maybe a little bit lighter, just click on the swatch and it brings up the color picker. And this is light, this is dark, this is saturated in color, this is desaturated in color. Cool. So now we got introducing and we have our lion. All right, so our lion, we need to scale that up. Make sure that it is linked so that it scales evenly. And I'm just going to scale this up somewhere in the 130s. Now I want to align it to the center so I can use my align menu. So align to the center. And now one more thing with graphics that are very top heavy or one-sided like this, you can cheat them a little bit to the left and it'll still feel centered. So I'm just going to do that. There we go. And then the introducing font, so I'm just going to grab that. I also want to make sure that's aligned to the center, which it is. Cool. All right, so now we have our text and we have our lions, so we can get started actually animating these. So introducing is just going to be on screen for about 6 frames. So I'm just going to move my little icon here, or my time slider, up to 6. I know it's 6 by the indicator on the left. Now there's a couple ways I can clip this so it's only showing for 6 frames. One, we could do it manually. So if we slide on over to the end using this kind of top slider, and we grab the end of this layer and we move it all the way back, we can move it to 6 frames. So let me get that one more time. 6 and slide. So that's one method. The other method that I like to use quite a bit is if your indicator is, or your layer is long, you can go to edit and split your layer. This splits it wherever your time slider is, and then you can just delete the part of the layer that you don't want. So this little block indicates when introducing will be on screen. So it's just there for 6 frames. Nice and snappy. All right, so the same with the lion. However, we're going to bring the lion on and off screen a couple times. So once at the beginning and once at the end. So in this case, it doesn't make sense to just have this clip. Instead, it would be easier to use a keyframe for opacity. So let's do that. In After Effects, opacity, you can set keyframes for it here, or up at the top in your properties menu, or you can press the letter T for transparency, and that will create this little menu down below your layer. So let's do that. And right now we want to start at 100. So we're going to click our little stopwatch, and that sets a keyframe for 100. We're going to keep it at 100 until it goes frame, let's say frame 7. We're going to remove it from the screen. So now at frame 7, it's going to be at 0%. Now watch what happens. Between the two keyframes, the lion is gradually fading out. Instead, I want the lion to be at 100% until it's disappeared. So to do that, you have to set 2 frames at 100%. So the first frame is the start. The next frame is at frame, let's say frame 6. And this time we want it at 100%. And then at frame 7, it's at 0%. So that tells After Effects, keep it at 100 and then disappear. There you go. And we may want to make that, I'm going to use this little mountains indicator at the bottom here, so we can really scroll in. We may want to make that happen a little sooner. So I'm going to move these 2 keyframes over, so the lion will stay and then disappear when introducing disappears. Perfect. All right, so we set some keyframes for opacity. Now if we want to hide this menu, we just have to press U and press U again to show it. So U to hide, U to show, toggle on and off. So just a quick recap of what we did in this video. We adjusted the length of the layers so that they stay on and off frame. We also used transparency, the shortcut T, to have layers appear and disappear. And then we used our color picker, and we also used an Adobe font. All right, so that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next video when we'll do the next scene. Thanks.